What's up, guys? It's Aaron, and today I'm going to be telling you about why I chose to go to school at Rutgers. And this was one of the best decisions I ever made. At the time, I wasn't so sure about it. I was a little bit concerned, but it all worked out in the end. So I guess I'll start out with telling you what I was like in high school. So as a student in high school, I had like decent grades, nothing crazy, but I did take a lot of AP and honors classes. The only classes I didn't really take AP or honors in was math. I was never like a super strong math student. I was more of a reading, writing, and like history student, although I did like science. And the reason, one of the reasons I had a pretty decent GPA was that I took a lot of AP classes that I did well in and I got fives on. And the trick to AP classes is taking things that you enjoy, things that you're interested in, and things that you know you'll do well in. The classes I took were U.S. History 1 and 2, AP Gov, and Environmental Science. All of these are classes I would recommend, but they're classes I would recommend because I enjoy them. If you're really into math, take math classes. If you're really into English, take AP English classes. Take things you know that you'll be willing to study. And then I took honors English and honors of other sciences and stuff, everything else honors. And then I took CP Calc my senior year just because I didn't want to take an AP or honors math. I knew I wouldn't enjoy it, wouldn't want to study for it. And so that really helped. And then the other thing I had was my GPA wasn't amazing. It was okay. But the other thing I had was really good test scores. And I did terrible on the ACT. I only took that once. But I took the SAT and I did really well. And I took it again and I did even better on the reading and writing section. So I was able to super score, which is taking the best of both scores, putting them together, and getting one score. And this was back when it was on the 2400 scale. So I think I ended up with like a 2100 out of 2400. If I'm remembering correctly, and I applied to Rutgers with that. And I think that, along with my essay, really helped me to get in. I've heard that the rumor that they don't read the essays, but that's not true. They definitely read the essays, or at least look at it, and I think that my essay is something that really helped me to get in. I wrote what I thought was a pretty good essay. It was funny and entertaining, a little bit informative. One, mentioned that I was responsible because the essay was about lifeguarding, but two, I think I got like a laugh out of the recruiters because the essay was about how I saved this woman who thought that her iPhone was more valuable than her life. She was really drunk. She dropped her iPhone in the lake, fell off her kayak, didn't know how to swim, and I made the save, got her in the boat, and she wanted to jump overboard to save her iPhone. And I had to kind of talk her down, talk her out of it. So I was able to write about how write about it in a funny way, but also bring out the fact that I was responsible, mentioned that I was a head lifeguard, got to get all those buzzwords in there. And that's what they were looking for. I talked about teamwork, responsibility, and how it would make me a good Rutgers student. So that's that for the essays. So what did I want to do in high school? Honestly, I had no idea. I didn't know if I wanted to do something medical, business. I was basically torn between pre-med and pre-law, or maybe some sort of business. And I ended up applying to 3 of the schools at Rutgers. I applied for nursing. I applied for business. And what was the other one? I think I applied for the School of Environmental and Biological Studies, and I ended up getting into all 3. So I wasn't sure that I wanted to go to Rutgers at first. I also applied to Penn State. I applied to TCNJ, and I applied to Rhode Island as a safety school. And I think I could have stretched myself and applied to something a little better. I toured some other schools. I toured Stevens. Wasn't really my kind of place. I thought Rutgers was a good school because it had some social stuff, it had some academic stuff, and it really offered everything. And that, when it came down to it, that's why I chose Rutgers. One, in-state tuition. Between Rutgers and Penn State, Rutgers was by far the better choice because it was in-state, it cost less for me, and it had everything Penn State had and more, in my opinion. Plus, I could root for the football team and sleep at night. Not that we have a good team, but you're rooting for your state's team. So I didn't know what I wanted to do at all when I was applying for schools, but I got into the business school at Rutgers, and that was the best school for return on investment out of the 3. And I didn't really know if I wanted to do something medical. It was a big commitment. I wasn't super into science and math, so I ended up choosing the business school. And I placed into XPOS and Calc, which are both good. That's where most people were. Some people had to do basic comp or whatever, but the thing that really helped me out was the fact that I applied for the Business Discovery House. That was sort of more selective program where they put you with other students that are also I don't want to say smart, other students that are smart, other students that are driven to be interested in business, and they're not all completely decided that they want to do business, but they're people that are going to be taking similar classes to you. You live with them, you study with them. It kind of makes a really big school feel a little bit smaller. and that was really helpful for me for the first semester. It's now only my second semester, but I completely love it here at Rutgers. Choosing Rutgers was one of the best decisions I made. So for someone like me who didn't know what they wanted to do, Rutgers is really the place to be because I'm able to take all kinds of classes. They offer literally everything here. So if I want to change majors, it's super easy. If I'd gone somewhere like Stevens, there weren't as many majors, or TC&J, it's too small. TC&J to me seemed like a really good school, but to me it seemed too small. It seemed like it was in the middle of nowhere and it was like a high school. So Rutgers is really close to the city. It's like a 30 to 40-minute train ride into New York, and then maybe like an hour or so into Philadelphia. Never really gone into Philadelphia, although I'm going to for a business case competition later in the year. And I think that's one of the big selling points is that there's actually stuff going on here. Downtown New Brunswick is really cool. It's like a fun college town, and there's also employers. There's employers all over the place. We've got all the New Jersey corporate parks. You've got New York City right nearby, and you got Philadelphia a little ways down. So when you're looking for a school, what are some questions you should ask? Well, I had no idea. When I was applying to Rutgers, there were kind of like three things I was looking for. One, a good dining hall. Two, a good gym. And three, fun people. And like those weren't the best things to be looking for at the time, but now I know a little bit more what you should ask. So one of the things you want to ask is retention rate. That's the amount of students that stay at the school after their first year, the amount that don't transfer out. Because you want to be going to a school that you're going to stick at for 4 years. You don't want to go for a year and transfer out. So look for retention rate, look for ROI, return on investment. You want a school that's placing at least like 90% of their students in jobs that they're looking for. If you're applying to a school, you want to make sure it's a good investment. You don't want to just go to school for 4 years and not have something to do afterwards. So another reason, one of the other reasons I chose Rutgers was all of the stuff going on outside of academics. Rutgers has fun football games to go to. There's a lot of stuff going on the weekends, and it's easy to get yourself out there and involved. There's so many clubs and organizations, and if you don't see a club that you specifically want to do, you can easily create your own. It's just, there's so many people here, there's bound to be people with similar interests to you. I found an outdoors club, I found lots of business clubs, there's professional fraternities, social fraternities, there's, all sorts of sports teams. You've got your, everything from your D1 sports all the way down through your club sports and even just like your intramurals and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And you'll never be bored. There's just too much to do. And then another thing that's pretty cool. Rutgers accepts your AP classes for credits. So when I started here, I started with a bunch of credits. And you have to take even in the business school, you have to take like a core SAS basic curriculum requirements. And these requirements were like somewhat fulfilled by the classes I took. I had already taken AP Gov, which fulfilled like one of my history requirements. I had taken environmental science that fulfills one of my environmental science or one of my science requirements. So that's pretty helpful. And with that, if you really grind on those APs, you can graduate early, or you can just take it easy a semester. Rutgers also offers study abroad, which is something that I'm looking into doing. I think that would be pretty cool. So we'll see. Maybe I'll study abroad in like another English-speaking country, Ireland, England, South Africa, somewhere that speaks English. I'm not great with other languages, but if you speak another language, you can really study abroad anywhere. They have a lot of really good programs here. So no matter what you're doing, or if you don't know what you want to do, that's completely fine. You should definitely come to Rutgers because if you don't know what you're doing, you'll figure it out quickly here. And I still don't know exactly what I want to do, but I know like something in the business world. And then I'm also interested in like film and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to take some film production electives. I'm taking a criminal justice class this semester, not because that's what I want to do, just because I found it interesting and I have plenty of time to get all my requirements done. So I thought that would be pretty cool. And with a school like Rutgers too, you have lots of flexibility on professors. So in high school, you're stuck with the teachers you have. When you go to a big school like Rutgers, you can look at Rate My Professor, and if someone has bad reviews or looks terrible, find a different professor. If some professor is making you pay like a ton of money for a book, find a different professor. There's bound to be another one. I kind of learned that the hard way. My first semester, I took a calculus class with a professor who I really didn't like. Her lecturing style didn't match up to mine. I had like a hard time in that class because the way she lectured, she talked to the board, and I didn't really like it. You couldn't ask questions, But for second semester, I went on Rate My Professor, and I found like really good teachers in all of the subjects. I looked for people who are willing to talk to the students after class and stuff, and I found all professors I like. So this semester I'm doing really well. And I'm also taking a hybrid class. Rutgers offers these hybrid classes that are like partially online. You only have to meet once a week. You can even take fully online classes here. So if you're doing like maybe a few classes where you're meeting every day, you can also change up your schedule and add in a class that's completely online. Maybe the professor doesn't even teach here. We have all kinds of partnerships with other schools. So that's another reason that you would want to come here. You can study literally anything you want. So something that I didn't know when I first applied to Rutgers too is how well known it is around the world and in other states. Being from New Jersey, it's not like thought of as being such an amazing school, but when you talk to kids who come from out of state, they've all heard of it as like such a great place. Lots of employers know the school, and our reputation is actually getting better every year. We're moving up on the lists. So I'll drop in some links below to lists of like ratings for schools, but especially our specialized schools, our business school, our pharmacy school, like our pre-med programs are amazing. Nursing is really good. There's lots of really good specific schools. And then if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't really want to do one of those schools, you can always apply to School of Arts and Sciences, which is a little easier to get into, and you can always change schools from there. It's easy to transfer within the university as long as you have the grades and stuff like that. So I would say if you're looking to apply, you can apply to up to 3 of the schools at Rutgers. Apply to 3 completely different schools if you don't know what you want to do, and you still have plenty of time to change majors and stuff. You can even change schools. So I would highly recommend Rutgers. If you're on the fence about it, just do it. Definitely put in the application. Until next time, guys, if you have any questions about Rutgers, drop them below. Feel free to send me an email at my professional email. The best way to reach me is a comment. So any questions about Rutgers whatsoever, put them in the comments. I'll be sure to respond to you. And let me know if you have any other ideas for videos or anything. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment. I'm going to be putting out videos every day. This is day number 7 of 30, and I'm still on track. All right, see you tomorrow.